This is Darren. Just wanted to come to you today and chat a little bit. And I want to start a new series of videos that'll be on our dental page. And it's going to be entitled On the Road with Dr. Bob. So I want to start by introducing Dr. Bob. So I'm going to turn the camera around here because we're on the road, literally. I'm in a car. So, hi, Dr. Bob.
Hi, is this one of those car review YouTube sites? Is that what we're doing?
Sort of, kind of. You know, the whole idea is obviously you're a uber, these are my words, not yours. You're an uber successful dentist.
Oh, it's a dentist thing. It's
a dentist thing.
Okay.
This is going to be apparently entertaining as well, which is going to be awesome. So you're an uber successful dentist who now is on the road. Why in the world is an uber successful dentist on the road? Because everybody who's going to watch us is going to think an uber successful dentist is not out driving on a car on the road. It's not even a really flashy car. We won't say what kind it is. At dusk. So what's your story?
Oh, well, Darren, here's my story. So I'm a dentist. I went to Yukon, Connecticut, not Yukon with a Y, a long time ago, and for about 26 years practiced dentistry, most of that in San Diego, California. And something happened. So about a year and a half ago now, a little bit more, I developed this problem with my right eye where my close-up vision was super clouded and totally screwed up my depth of field. So right now I'm driving a car, I can see perfectly fine, everything's far away, it's nice and clear, using my left eye, which is my not screwed up eye, but when I get close I lose my depth of field, so dentistry became hard to do and then impossible to do, and to the point where I was like headaches and I was afraid I was going to screw something up. And I realized pretty quickly that I had to figure something out. So went to a broker, found a great buyer for the office who now owns and operates my office. His name is Sean. He's a wonderful guy. Took over and I stopped. And so for about a couple months I was retired. I was doing the lawn and the gardening and cooking and washing the dishes and just the retired guy, and that didn't last long because I'm not that guy. It wasn't enough. Started doing a bunch of lecturing about CAD/CAM and technology and digital this and how we incorporate that in the office and treatment planning and case acceptance and all this stuff, and eventually got hooked up with Darren. This was during the big COVID days, which we're kind of in the COVID hangover now, I think, and Darren had the same message I did, and we had a lot of synergy and decided, hey, let's work together and start coaching. So now I am officially a coach. So I go around all over the country and teach dental offices,
Florida plates.
Dental offices how to say it better, how to portray it better, how to be more lean, how to be more efficient, how to have more fun. And in doing so, these offices thrive. That's Darren's goal for years with AMP, and now that's my goal too.
I look at your numbers because I got to look at them even when we interviewed. I'm like, I want to see these because this sounds really too good to be true. I don't know if I believe you. So send me your numbers. I'm going to look at them. And your numbers were astronomical. Like most doctors, I think, would think you're full of it with your numbers, kind of like I did. But it was real. It was like really, broker even said yours is going to sell for a higher normal percentage than any other practice he'd ever sold, and I completely agree with it. Not because you were taking advantage of the guy, but because your data was so clean, your practice ran so effectively that you got more patients healthy. Because I want to make this clear, this isn't about like how can we make more cash and like take advantage of our patients. You just had such a great process that either you were a client of mine for years, or I stole all of your content years ago. I'm not sure which. But you just had a really, really high functioning practice. So as you go to some other practices, and we've walked out of some really interesting ones here as of late, what is the one thing that you sit back and you go, dang, man, I mean, really? And it's just that thing that has you stumped that you can't believe it.
Here's the one thing that I was, you want my aha, what happened here's something I learned very quickly as a coach.
Is this that patient story? Because that's a good one.
No, but there's a dump truck coming across the road story.
It's on the road with Dr. Bob, and there's the semi that almost killed us.
Hold on, we're getting on a different highway, and I think we're still in...
Turn.
Are we in Indiana?
We're in Indiana.
Okay, we're in Indiana.
Rural Indiana, driving towards the city.
I will tell you my aha moment of being a coach. I think that's where you're going.
Well, maybe your own instead. How about we go with your lesson that had you hired us, we would have slapped you around, you would have learned it. But it was your lesson with that one patient. Because I think that's a great story to illustrate where most people go wrong in practices.
So I'm going to make this super brief. If you want to hear the details, we can do it. But essentially, I had a patient who only had a few teeth. I had written him off, basically. And the funny thing is, if any of my staff are listening to this, I'm not going to say a name, but you're going to know who I'm talking about. Written him off.
By the way, comment in the comments below if you first name only.
Or maybe. Yeah,
for HIPAA.
But I essentially had written off this patient because he was kind of dirty and, never clean. He was long blonde ponytail and wore bare feet all the time. I guess you don't wear bare feet, but he had bare feet all the time. And it just seemed like kind of a dirt bag. And I'm being careful because I don't want to mention any particulars because that's not fair to him. But essentially what happened was I patched him up because he couldn't afford stuff for sure. And never gave him a treatment plan. It's a long time ago, 15 years, maybe more. Never gave him a big treatment plan of what he really needed, which was a bunch of back teeth to chew with, instead of breaking his front ones off all the time. Kept re-putting a bigger post in it, and let's put an even bigger post, and let's try to get a ferrule here at all, or all that stuff. You know how it goes when the fronts are breaking and they keep going. Anyway, so one day, one thing led to another, and he needed help jump-starting his car. And of course, everybody looks to me to want to do that, and I went outside and with him and brought my car around, and there he is standing next to a very fancy car. And I started talking. He said, I have several of them, and it started telling me about his collection of cars that literally was in the millions of dollars worth.
What color was the car? You can name the car.
I don't want to say it because this is my dream car. It's so freaking cool. And he had working for this company as the janitor. Turned out he owned this multi-million dollar company. He was obviously a multi-millionaire himself. And I wanted to recommend to him, later based on that meeting, I'm like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I prejudged his ability to pay and what's wrong with me. And I've always said I would never do that. And there I did it. And so I decided, next time he comes in, I'm going to figure this out. We're going to get some dental implants. We're going to fix this guy up so he can eat. It was all very ridiculous. Well, the sad ending is the guy died before I ever got a chance to do it. He didn't die the next day, but he passed away before we ever really touched base again. And I don't think not eating killed him, but I think I could have probably given him some eating pleasure for a bunch of years if I hadn't judged this guy and had the cojones to offer what I can offer, what I knew I could do, but didn't even think of it. So that was an aha moment for me for sure. And it sounds like a very convenient story, but it's not a story. It really happened. And I felt like absolute doo-doo after that. And I made it my business not to do it anymore. And you slip back. The guy comes in a fancy silk suit. Oh, let's give him the best. And somebody comes in and says, well, and they look terrible. And you go, well, maybe they can't afford anything. Maybe I'll just start with Care Credit instead of telling them the actual case fee. And, that's wrong. And you have to catch yourself all the time. So I'd say that was a big moment for me. I don't know.
So, if I were to summarize, and I'll try and bring you into the shot so I'm not...
Well, the background is nothing except for this semi over here.
Yeah, well, let's not point the camera at that with what it's doing right now. To me, the big aha answer out of this is be careful not to prejudge your patients, right? Just offer people the best. This is a story we've been telling for years and years and years. And I feel like it's a story that a lot of doctors need to learn. It's a story that a lot of doctors learn the hard way, like Dr. Bob just illustrated. And I think if we just always offer people the best, was it Zig Ziglar that said if you offer the offer the best and you won't have to apologize. I'm butchering this quote.
Yeah, that was really profound, the way you put it right.
It was outstanding. Anyway, offer people the best and you'll always sleep well at night. You'll always know that you did the right thing.
And, in the dental office, this is the thing. We hear no a lot. I don't want to do that. No, thank you. I don't want to do that expensive procedure, or I'm afraid of it, or no for whatever reason. And so I think what happens is we don't like that. I think as humans, we don't want to hear the word no. And I think as dentists, a lot of times we insulate ourselves against no by not putting ourselves in a situation where we might just hear that, so we don't offer. Well, this guy's probably not going to do it, so why would I bother wasting my time asking him? And I'm just going to get a no, like I got yesterday. And I think when we get in that frame of mind and we stop offering, then we have no opportunity hearing yes at all. I'd rather have 1 in 10 say yes to a big case than be 0 for 0. And so I always work everybody up the best way. We all as dentists, we go, I'm an ethical and honest dentist. I'm offering the best. And then we don't. We prejudge it. And we all do it. And if you're watching this right now, think really hard. Do you do that? You might just come up with, yes, I do. And that's cool. That's cool. But that's something that probably should change, I think.
So the question there for yourself, and do me a favor, share in the comments below, have you ever prejudged a patient? Just say yep or nope, whatever it might be. Share in the comments below, and I don't do that for any other reason that whoever's watching this, someone's going to have to be the first person to have the courage to admit it, and then someone else will, and someone else will, and then all of a sudden it feels like it's a community where we're not alone. One of the problems with stuff like this is I feel alone because I'm the only person who makes this mistake, and therefore I hide instead of being open about it. So I want to encourage anybody and everybody, if you've ever done that, just share in the comments, yep, I've done it, or no, I haven't. And it gives us the feedback if anyone cares about the content that we're providing here, because our goal is to start providing an episode of On the Road with Dr. Bob regularly.
A nice shorty,
much shorter than this.
Right, this one's a lot. I think just
intro
minutes.
time. Yeah, intro time.
Although we're in a lot of traffic right now. We could go on for another couple hours at this point. We're pretty much stopped here.
We probably shouldn't have taken this highway. Nothing like stop and go traffic in the country. I mean, this is the country, for God's sake. Look at this. There's nothing here but trees and forest and
that police car. And those
I guess. Anyway, whatever the case is,
we've reached the end.
Apologize for being silly here.
Oh, they're putting down those reflectory things with glue.
Wow. I didn't know that's how they did that.
I think that was like a dual cure or some sort of thing they're putting there.
Not even using a curing light. Or incremental.
Any light.
So, whatever the case is, if you've enjoyed this, comment below, share it with your friends. Expect to see some of this on a regular basis. Probably on our AMP page. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that, though. I think it might have to be on a personal page and then shared to the AMP page, so however you catch it. Just want to provide you guys good value. So, thanks so much. Thanks, Dr. Bob, for taking the time to share your story, and everybody have a great evening.